A good afternoon to you from the second city, Montego Bay, Jamaica. We are broadcasting live from the ballroom of the beautiful oceanfront paradise of Jewel Grand Montego Bay Resort and Spa on this, the 6th day of July 2025. Thank you for joining our broadcast of the swearing-in of the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson as the new President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. I am Jabertha Atkinson, and it is my pleasure to be part of the Jamaica Information Service JIS broadcast team as we come to you live from this location. This is a proud day not only for Jamaica but for the entire region as we witness the elevation of a distinguished jurist to the helm of one of our most important regional institutions. Justice Anderson is of Jamaican and Barbadian heritage, and we celebrate him. We recall that the Caribbean Court of Justice, or CCJ, was inaugurated in 2005 and is headquartered in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. The court serves a dual role as an international court interpreting the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas and as the final appellate court for member states that have acceded to its appellate jurisdiction. For the region, the CCJ is a symbol of regional sovereignty and legal excellence. It replaces the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London for those countries that have made the transition, offering justice that is closer to home and rooted in Caribbean realities. Today's ceremony promises to be rich in tradition and symbolism. The proceedings will be presided over by His Excellency, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General of Jamaica, who will deliver remarks during the administration of the oath of office. We will also hear from Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary General of CARICOM, along with tributes from outgoing CCJ President, the Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, and regional leaders including the Honourable John Briceno, Prime Minister of Belize, who serves as CARICOM's head of government for justice and governance. We will also hear from Jamaica's Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, who assumed the chairmanship of CARICOM on July 1, 2025, and will hold this responsibility until December 31, 2025. This afternoon's swearing-in ceremony is being held against the backdrop of the official opening of the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM later this afternoon. Following this event, the leaders will gather at the expansive Montego Bay Convention Center, just 1.5 kilometers away from where we are to attend the official opening ceremony. We thank you for joining us from wherever you are in the region or the world for this milestone occasion. We will hear much more about our extraordinary president-designate as he is formally introduced by the brilliant Miss Jacqueline Samuels Brown. Just a bit about Mrs. Samuel Brown. She is King's Counsel and also received the Order of Distinction Commander Class for her outstanding contribution to advocacy and legal education in October 2024. And back to the man of the hour, we know that the Honourable Justice Anderson has had a remarkable journey to get to this point. Justice Anderson earned his LLB from the University of the West Indies in 1983, followed by a PhD from Cambridge University in 1988. That same year, he was called to the Bar of England and Wales, and later to the bars of Barbados and Jamaica. His academic career is equally distinguished. He served as a professor at UWI, where he was Deputy Dean and Executive Director of the Caribbean Law Institute Center. He also served as General Counsel to the Caribbean community. In 2010, he was appointed to the bench of the CCJ, where he has served with distinction, becoming the second most senior judge and founding chairman of the CCJ Academy for Law. Today's ceremony is not just a personal milestone for Justice Anderson, it is a reaffirmation of the Caribbean's commitment to justice, independence, and regional unity. We see everyone taking their seats, and the ceremony is about to begin. The next voice you will be hearing is that of Gabrielle Figaro-Jones, the Registrar and Chief Marshal of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Thank you for joining us.
Please stand for the arrival of their Excellencies, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor-General of Jamaica, and Most Honourable Lady Allen. And please remain standing for the national anthem. You may be seated. Their Excellencies, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor-General, and the Most Honourable Lady Allen. Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community. Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary-General, CARICOM. Members of the Cabinet. The Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, outgoing President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and Mrs. Marilyn Saunders. The Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, incoming President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The Right Honourable Sir Dennis Byron, former President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The Honourable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Chief Justice of Jamaica. Chief Justices and Heads of Judiciaries of the Caribbean Community. The Honourable Mrs. Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop, President of the Court of Appeal of Jamaica. Other members of government. Members of the Privy Council. Other members of the Judiciary. Commissioners of the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission. Officials of the CARICOM Secretariat and affiliated organizations. Members of the Jamaican Bar Association and wider legal fraternity. Family and friends of Mr. Justice Anderson, ladies and gentlemen, guests viewing on online platforms, welcome. It is my distinct honor to welcome you to this tremendous occasion, the swearing in of the fourth President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson. Today marks a significant chapter in the history of the court and a proud moment for the Caribbean. In fact, this ceremony reminds us of our collective affirmation of our region's unwavering commitment to deepening regional integration and the continued evolution of Caribbean jurisprudence through judicial process. Welcome again, and thank you for being part of this historic day. To commence, I invite Dr. Carla Barnett to deliver opening remarks.
Your Excellency, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor-General of Jamaica, and Mrs. Allen, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica and Chairman of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, Honourable John Briceno, Prime Minister of Belize and Lead Head of Government in the CARICOM Quasi-Cabinet for Justice and Governance, other heads of state and government of CARICOM, Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, incoming President of the Court, and Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, outgoing President of the Court, Ministers of Government, other distinguished members of the judiciary of the region, special invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Today's ceremony affirms and celebrates the decision of the heads of government of the Caribbean community to set up the Caribbean Court of Justice, which in its original jurisdiction is the final dispute resolution mechanism under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. This is not merely a ceremonial event. It is a powerful affirmation that CARICOM values the rule of law, the independence of the judiciary, and the continuity of regional jurisprudence. The Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Charles Anderson will be the 4th President of this, our apex court. He is the quintessential Caribbean jurist, having obtained his LLB and LLM degrees from the University of the West Indies, our premier regional institution of higher learning. Dr. Anderson, as he then was, returned after a time in the United Kingdom to share his talents with his alma mater, and there he gave distinguished service in the Faculty of Law as Deputy Dean, head of the Teaching Department of Law, and the UWI Senior Lecturer in Law. At the CARICOM Secretariat, we had the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Anderson as General Counsel from 2003 to 2006. He served with his trademark insight and incisiveness and was of invaluable assistance in those critical years prior to the start of the CCJ in 2005. We were therefore not at all surprised when Dr. Anderson was sworn in as a judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice in June 2010, the first Jamaican, and at age 49, the youngest judge ever appointed to the CCJ. As founding chairman of the CCJ Academy of Law, he has helped to promote and shape standards and best practices in jurisprudence for the next generation of practitioners. Today's ceremony marks the logical next step in the professional trajectory of this extraordinary regional jurist. The Office of the President carries not only the highest responsibility for the judicial system, but also embodies the trust and confidence of the people. It is a role that calls for wisdom in judgment, integrity in conduct, and leadership in times of challenge and change. The CCJ President not only presides over judgments, but also shapes the tone, integrity, and institutional strength of the court itself. This leadership will be crucial as we navigate complex legal issues in an era defined by technological change, social transformation, and global interconnectedness. Justice Anderson, on behalf of the Caribbean community, I warmly congratulate you on this remarkable achievement. We are reminded by the wise Jamaican proverb that the older the moon, the brighter it shines. We are therefore confident that the wealth of experience you bring to your presidency, this vital body under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, is in knowledgeable and capable hands. I wish you the very best for your tenure. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barnett. It is now my pleasure to invite the Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders to the podium. President.
Thank you very much, Madam Registrar and Secretary of our Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission. Their Excellencies, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen, and the Most Honourable Lily Allen, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, Honourable John Briceno, Lead Head of Government for Justice and Governance in CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary General of CARICOM, members of the Cabinet, my brother, my dear brother, Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, incoming President of the CCJ, Honourable Justice Sykes, Chief Justice of Jamaica, Chief Justices and Heads of Judiciaries of the Caribbean Community, the Honourable Mrs. Justice MacDonald Bishop, President of the Court of Appeal of Jamaica, other members of government, other members of the Privy Council, other members of the Judiciary, my dear Commissioners of the Regional Judicial Legal and Services Commission, officials of the CARICOM Secretariat, members of the Jamaica Bar Association, family and friends of Justice Anderson, and I see there are a few here, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a very special occasion for the Caribbean Court of Justice and for Jamaica as we swear in the fourth president of the CCJ, because of course, the Honourable Mr. Justice Anderson hails from the heart of Jamaica in the Garden Parish of St. Anne. I have had the great privilege of working alongside him over the last 15 years, and I could say without fear of contradiction that he is ideally suited and extremely well prepared for the enhanced role he is set to play in the life of the region's premier court. He is a product of the elite tertiary institutions in the Caribbean and the United Kingdom, respectively. As you heard, he obtained his Bachelor's of Law degree from the University of the West Indies in 1983, and he furthered his studies at Cambridge University, where he obtained his doctorate. Throughout his time at the CCJ, Justice Anderson fully demonstrated that he is an extremely hardworking and dynamic judge. Since he joined the court, he has sat on all the cases that have come our way in which we have been tasked with interpreting and applying the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. He has also sat on over 200 appeals from the various states that send their final appeals to us. He has written or co-authored some 32 opinions, and in most of these, he has delivered the leading opinion of the court. Being a judge at the CCJ is not just about hearing cases and writing judgments. CCJ judges have other responsibilities. For example, within the court, we devise and maintain a raft of court rules and policies. In this regard, Justice Anderson has been a tower of strength, both for me and my predecessor, who is here with us, Sir Dennis Byron. He has for several years successfully led our Policies and Procedures Approval Committee, which is a body established to assess the effectiveness and relevance of our current policies and their compliance with industry standards and legal requirements. It is arduous, painstaking work, but over the years, Justice Anderson and his committee have earnestly tackled this responsibility with the greatest commitment and success. Additionally, at the present time, Justice Anderson chairs our very important Strategic Planning Committee that is in the final stages of unveiling our third five-year strategic plan. Apex courts sit at the pinnacle of a judicial ladder. As such, they play, or ought to play, a significant role in seeing about the ladder itself, in reinforcing it, and helping to strengthen its resilience. They do so by engaging with the judges and officials of the courts below and with the legal profession. They organize and serve as resource personnel for training initiatives. They help to set and maintain standards to identify reform initiatives that can and should be undertaken. Justice Anderson's role in this latter regard has been nothing short of excellent. He has been the chair of the CCJ Academy for Law for many years, and under his leadership, the Academy can boast, among a raft of achievements, the crafting of the Needham's Point Declaration, which sets out a menu of measures that, if faithfully pursued throughout the region, will surely put a significant dent in crime. Outside the CCJ and Caribbean justice issues, Justice Anderson is a member of several regional and global bodies. He has served as president of the Seychelles Court of Appeal, chairman of the Anti-Corruption Tribunal of the ICC, as a judge of the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and he's a founding member of the Advisory Council of the United Nations Environment Programme. Over the last year and a half, Justice Anderson has been a huge source of support for me, and I have no doubt whatsoever that the court will grow from strength to strength under his leadership. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Justice Saunders. We now turn to the lead head of government for Justice and Governance, CARICOM, for further remarks, welcoming the Honourable Mr. John Briceno, Prime Minister of Belize.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, prime ministers, members of cabinet, colleagues, it's certainly a great pleasure to be here in Jamaica. It's not often that I come to Jamaica, and I've been promising Prime Minister for some time I'm going to be here. So here I am, even if it's for work, but here we are now. But good afternoon, everybody. And as we will say also in Belize, buenas tardes. Today is indeed a glorious and wondrous day for us to convene, as it is a momentous time for our region, for our people, for CARICOM, for the Caribbean Court of Justice, and of course, for the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston, his family, and friends. The place, Montego Bay, and the settings here at the Jewel Grand Resort Spa, overlooking the beautiful Caribbean Sea that joins all our territories, make today even more magnificent. And I should like to commend the event organizers for their excellent taste. Your Excellencies, colleagues, as it is well known, milestones like the 52nd and 20th anniversaries of CARICOM and the CCJ respectively provide the opportunity for us to reflect on our collective journey in pursuit of a better life and a better place for our people. Lord Walker, in his valediction address on debating office as a Justice of the UK Supreme Court, in jest said this of the appellate courts: "It was, I think, an Australian judge who, speaking of appellate tribunals, said that when the battle of the first instance trial is being enjoined in the plain, the appellate judges sit up on the hills. And at the end of the day, when the noise and the dust is settling, they come down from the hills onto the battlefield and shoot the wounded." Now, of course, that would never be said of our Caribbean Court of Justice. Indeed, the unique and aspirational goals of the CCJ, cast in its mission at the establishment 20 years on, without question, has been realized in even greater measure than the ratifying heads in February 2001 could have envisioned. Unlike any other appellate courts, the judges of the CCJ have this unique ability and role to also sit in the court's original jurisdiction, fleshing out for greater clarity the provisions of the treaty at issue, and also playing the role of the first instance judges, listening to live evidence as judges of facts. But the CCJ has, during the 20 years growth sprout, done more than this, than hearing cases, The fascinating achievements of the court during this period is catalogued and well documented on the court's webpage, outlining the court's leading role in developing Caribbean jurisprudence and promoting legal education, judicial independence, and access to justice in the Caribbean. I encourage you to do a search of the court's excellently managed webpage. As a Belizean, I am particularly proud of the fact that a number of the court's landmark decisions which have contributed to developing jurisprudence of the region emanate from Belize. As a regional court, and in furtherance of the CARICOM's goals, the CCJ then has been a beacon and manifestation of all that is good and great of CARICOM and the region. We therefore must pay tribute to outgoing President Saunders, who has the distinction as the longest-serving judge of the court, being the youngest of the inaugural appointees back in 2005. President Saunders' youthfulness can be seen brimming in those pictures of the inaugural court. And if I may add, we prime ministers never have the luxury that you have, because when we come out, we look beat up. On taking the baton of the presidency in 2018, President Saunders continued in the vein of his predecessors, transforming and further modernizing the court to ensure the court's mission were not just platitudes, but that the court, in fact, gave life to these words. Thank you, Justice Saunders, for exemplary service. Now we come to the man of the hour, the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, a jurist whose professional career highlights him as one who has always pushed the envelope, whether through his scholarship in molding the minds of future lawyers in academia, in advising and guiding the Secretariat as General Counsel, and being a trailblazer on the court. Indeed, do a review of the successes, achievements, and pioneering initiatives of the court in the first 20 years, and you will see the print and influence of Justice Anderson in them, particularly the breathtaking work of the CCJ Academy of Law, for which he has been hailed by the court as the, quote, the driving force behind. I am proud to say that Belize is one of the places Justice Anderson did his in-service training for the presidency. He is to assume, as last year, September, as acting president, he was doing the work of the Academy in Belize and was the keynote speaker at the Criminal Justice Reform Conference, achieving the CCJ's Academy for Law Needham's Point Declaration. The court and the region have benefited greatly from his intellect, his scholarship, his leadership, and his unquenched drive to pursue continuously something new to advance the law and make it work for the peoples of the region. We have every confidence that President Anderson will continue the tradition of excellence of the court, and no doubt, given his track record, he has an impressive plan to further enhance the CCJ and surpass what we all thought were unmatched successes of his predecessor. Justice Anderson, on behalf of the heads, I extend heartiest congratulations to you and your family as you assume the presidency of the CCJ. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Please join me in welcoming Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica and Chairman of the 49th Regular Meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government, who will now deliver his remarks.
His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen and Lady Allen, Dr. the Honorable Carla Barnett, Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, the Honourable Mr. Justice Saunders, outgoing President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and Justice Winston Anderson, the incoming President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, my friend, the Honourable John Briceno, Prime Minister of Belize and lead head of government for justice and governance in the CARICOM quasi-cabinet, Honourable Ministers of Government, Honourable Justices and members of the Judiciary, members of the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission, members of the legal fraternity, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my honor and privilege to address you on this historic occasion, the swearing-in of the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson as the new President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. As we mark 20 years of the CCJ's contribution to Caribbean justice and integration, this moment allows us to both honor its legacy and embrace a new chapter in our region's judicial journey. Allow me to recognize the exemplary service of the Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders. The outgoing President of the CCJ, who has devoted nearly 30 years to Caribbean justice, 20 of those on the CCJ. Including 7 exemplary years as its 3rd president. Under his leadership, the court developed its first strategic plans in 2012 and again in 2019, strengthened its administrative structure and public outreach, and ensured continuity even through the challenges of the pandemic, with uninterrupted hearings and virtual operations. Justice Saunders, we salute your 40-year legal career, 48-year legal career, marked by integrity, compassion, humor, and unwavering dedication to the rule of law. Your legacy of judicial integrity, regional jurisprudence, and institutional excellence has profoundly shaped the CCJ, and we are most grateful for your service. Now, to the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, I extend warm and sincere congratulations. Your appointment is a moment of pride, not only for Jamaica, but for the entire region. You bring to this office a distinguished legal mind, a profound commitment to Caribbean jurisprudence, and decades of service grounded in scholarship and vision. You bring to this presidency a wealth of experience, including being the founding chairman of the court's educational arm, now known as the CCJ Academy for Law. Over the years, you have contributed significantly to the development of both the original and appellate jurisdictions, authoring key judgments that have strengthened the rule of law across the region. Your scholarly and judicial work continues to shape regional jurisprudence and inspire the next generation of Caribbean legal minds. As we look to the future, the CCJ must remain a cornerstone in expanding access to justice through technology and innovation, and upholding judicial independence and accountability. As we usher in this new presidency, let us embrace the next 20 years with confidence, shared ownership, and an unwavering belief in the CCJ as a cornerstone of Caribbean integration and development. Jamaica remains fully committed to the ideals of regional legal cooperation and to strengthening the institutions that uphold justice across the Caribbean community. We believe that the Caribbean Court of Justice, under this new leadership, will continue to inspire confidence, protect rights, and shape a region where justice is accessible, relevant, and transformative. In closing, I again extend our heartfelt appreciation to Justice Adrian Saunders for his legacy of service and leadership, and we offer our full support and best wishes to Justice Winston Anderson as he assumes this noble role. May the Caribbean Court of Justice continue to rise as both guardian of our regional legal tradition and a bold visionary force shaping the future of justice in our region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. The Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission plays an important role in making recommendations to the Conference of Heads of Government as it relates to the selection of the President of the CCJ. It is my pleasure then to invite Commissioner Samuels Brown to the podium to deliver brief remarks and to introduce Justice Anderson.
Their Excellencies, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen and Lady Allen, other distinguished guests, I ask you to permit me to adopt the protocols which have already been acknowledged and to welcome you all and to thank you for being here. I personally am honoured and humbled to be here with you distinguished guests to participate in the passing of the torch, marking the formal transition of the presidency of the Caribbean Court of Justice from one distinguished legal luminary, Justice Adrian Saunders, retired, to the other distinguished legal luminary, the Honourable Justice Winston Anderson. I have listened to the speakers before me, and they have with eloquence detailed aspects of the incoming president's stellar career. I don't know if that has made my job easier or harder, and I will try not to repeat too much what has been said before. But because my role is to do the formal introduction, inevitably there is going to be some repetition, and I ask you to be patient with me. In addition to that, your program for posterity contains Justice Winston Anderson's biography, some of which I will take the liberty of expanding on. For 15 years, the Honourable Justice Winston Anderson has served as a judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice, adjudicating on matters which fundamentally impact the rule of law in our several Caribbean states, the rights of our individual citizens, and the cohesion of our Caribbean community. As a Caribbean man, Justice Anderson earned his law degree at the Faculty of Law, University of the West Indies, and has been called to the bars in 2 of our jurisdictions, that is, Jamaica and Barbados. In 1988, he became a lecturer at the same Faculty of Law of the University of the West Indies, where he again excelled. His unquestionable commitment and brilliance was recognized by the university, which, not surprisingly, resulted in him being elevated to the rank of professor in 2010. And while at the university, he was also appointed to the position of Deputy Dean and Head of Teaching. But while at the university, his service was not limited to that educational institution. Based on his demonstrated knowledge and commitment to regional jurisprudence, he was seconded as General Counsel to CARICOM and served as Executive Director of the Caribbean Law Institute, the Center. So Justice Anderson's biography puts his commitment to the region beyond doubt. At the same time, we must not overlook the fact that he cannot by any standard be regarded as tunnel-visioned. You have already heard of his training in England. In fact, he received a doctorate in law from the Cambridge University and is a member of the Bar of England and Wales. More than that, as an academic, he engaged in comparative analyses of the law from different jurisdictions, that is outside of CARICOM. He is the author of numerous articles in referred journals and of 5 leading texts, including one on the law of the sea in the Caribbean, Caribbean private international law, and principles of Caribbean environmental law. When you are sitting as a judge, to take time out to write these in-depth books is very time-consuming and requires much devotion and research. He is and has been a member of several global regional bodies, which you heard of before. As you were told, and as you probably already knew, he was president of the Seychelles Court of Appeal, a judge of the Global Court of Arbitration for Sports, and a founding member of the United Nations Environment Program Advisory Council. And this being the region, it is not surprising that he has also been chairman of the International Cricket Council and Council's Anti-Corruption Tribunal. What has not been said before by our previous speakers is that he is a proud father of 3 children who, like him, are standard bearers in our Caribbean jurisprudence. Anessa, his daughter, is a graduate of the University of the West Indies with a bachelor's in law and recipient of the Certificate of Legal Education from the Hugh Wooding Law School. She practices law in Barbados. So we have covered Trinidad, Hugh Wooding, and we have covered Barbados. Alicia and Anquan are both medical doctors, having studied at and graduated from the University of the West Indies Faculty of Medicine, Mona campus in Jamaica. So we have now gone to Jamaica. Permit me to record young people, I call you young people here, my thanks and the thanks of the CCJ and other professionals for your understanding and support while your father served and gave service in his various capacities. We know that this included trespasses on your time, but you have shown that it was worth it, not only in terms of what you have achieved, but what your father has been able to achieve. There is no doubt that with Justice Winston Anderson's inherent brilliance, he comes to us with the wisdom referenced in his, that can be referenced from his academic studies and service to the region. And this wisdom, if I may quote from the Bible, has been enhanced with knowledge and understanding. Justice, the Honourable Winston Anderson, is, without doubt, clothed with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding required of the President of an apex court. And so it is that I do not hesitate, and I take great pleasure in introducing him to you, distinguished guests, as he shall shortly rise to take the oath of office and be sworn in as the President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Samuels-Brown. His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, will now address us, after which the Governor-General Secretary and Clerk to the Privy Council, Major Dwayne Hill, will read the proclamation and invite Mr. Justice Anderson to take and subscribe the oath of office. Your Excellency.
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, all heads of government of the Caribbean community, Dr. Carla Barnett, Secretary General, CARICOM, members of Cabinet, the Honorable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders and Mrs. Saunders, the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, incoming President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the Honourable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Chief Justice of Jamaica, Chief Justices and heads of judiciaries of the Caribbean community, the Honourable Mrs. Justice MacDonald Bishop, President of the Court of Appeal, Jamaica, other members of government, members of the Privy Council, other members of the Judiciary, commissioners of the Regional Judicial Legal Services Commission, officials of the CARICOM Secretariat and affiliated organizations, members of the Bar Association of Jamaica and wider legal fraternity, family, and friends of Justice Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, guests viewing on the online platform, it is my distinct honor to administer the oath of office to the Honorable Justice Winston Anderson as President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. This moment holds personal significance for me, as I had the privilege of administering the oath of office when Justice Anderson was first sworn in as a judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice in 2010. Today, I am humbled once again to administer the oath as he ascends to the highest office of the very institution he has helped to strengthen over the past 15 years. Justice Anderson now becomes the fourth president of the Caribbean Court of Justice since its founding in 2004. Remarkably, this is the second time I have had the honor of administering this oath of office in Montego Bay, the first being in 2018 to the outgoing President, the Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders. Justice Saunders has carried out the responsibilities of his office with wisdom and humility and an unwavering commitment to judicial excellence. Under his leadership, the court has solidified its role in regional integration, elevated the quality of legal discourse, and built enduring trust across the Caribbean. I extend my deepest gratitude to him. Well, you're right before me, so let me say, I extend my deepest gratitude to you, Justice Saunders, for your extraordinary service and for your lasting contribution to the development of Caribbean jurisprudence. Justice Anderson now assumes this mantle at a time that presents both great opportunities and immense responsibility for the court and the region. He brings to this office a distinguished record of scholarship, integrity, and unwavering commitment to the ideals of justice, as you have heard so proudly remarked. A proud son of Jamaica and the Caribbean, he embodies what is possible when our institutions invest in leadership that is rooted in principle and dedicated to purpose. His appointment is not only a personal triumph, but also a resounding testament to our regional confidence in our own talents, values also, and ability to lead on the world stage. Justice Anderson, I offer you my congratulations. May you be granted strength, discernment, and continued success as you assume this sacred trust. May the Caribbean Court of Justice continue to flourish under your leadership, and may our Caribbean family grow ever stronger in our pursuit of justice, equity, and unity. It is now my great pleasure to invite you to take the oath of office.
A proclamation. Whereas the Caribbean Court of Justice is an essential part of the effort to deepen and strengthen the Caribbean community through a single market and a single economy, which the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas provides for. And whereas the Caribbean Court of Justice is the highest municipal court in the region that considers and determines appeals in both civil and criminal matters from courts within the jurisdictions of member states of the community, and which are parties to the agreement establishing the Caribbean Court of Justice. And whereas Article 4.6 of the Schedule of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Original Jurisdiction Act 2005, hereinafter referred to as the Act, provides that the President of the Caribbean Court of Justice shall be appointed by the qualified majority vote of 3/4 of the contracting parties on the recommendation of the Commission. And whereas Article 4.9 of the Schedule to the Act provides that the appointment of a President shall be signified by letter under the hand of the Chairman for the time being of the conference, acting on the advice of the heads of government. And whereas the contracting parties at their 48th regular meeting of the conference held in Barbados on the 20th to the 21st of February 2025, considered the recommendation of the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission and decided that you, the Honourable Mr. Winston Charles Anderson, be appointed President of the Caribbean Court of Justice from the 4th of July 2025. And whereas Article 10.2 of the Schedule to the Act provides that the oath of office shall be taken and subscribed before the head of state of any contracting party. And whereas there is occasion for the taking of the oath by you, the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Charles Anderson, having been appointed President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Now, therefore, I, Patrick Linton Allen, member of the Order of the Nation, Knight Grand Cross of the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George, Commander of the Order of Distinction, Knight of Grace of the Most Venerable Order of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem, Governor General of Jamaica, do hereby proclaim that on this 6th day of July 2025, the said Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Charles Anderson accedes to the office of President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, given under my hand this 6th day of July in the year of our Lord 2025. Sir.
I, Winston Charles Anderson, having been appointed a President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, do hereby swear that I will faithfully exercise the office of President of the Caribbean Court of Justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and in accordance with the Code of Judicial Conduct. So help me God.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Mr. Justice Anderson, I will now present you with the seal of the Caribbean Court of Justice. And now I invite you, sir, to give your response.
Thank you, Madam Registrar, as we say in the court. But on this occasion, thank you, Secretary, to the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission. Please permit me to adopt the protocol which has been established. Otherwise, I think it will rival the length of my speech. But to specifically recognize the presence of His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General of Jamaica, Most Honorable Lady Allen, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, other esteemed heads of government and of the Caribbean community, Prime Minister John Briceno, the Secretary General of CARICOM, the Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, outgoing President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and Mrs. Saunders. Sir Dennis Byron, former President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The Honourable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Chief Justice of Jamaica. Other heads of judiciary of the Caribbean community. Members of the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission. Government officials, colleagues, family, and friends, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. It was just over 15 years ago, on the 15th of June 2010, that I was sworn in as a judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice at King's House in Kingston, Jamaica. On that Tuesday morning, today's event would not have been within the reach of my most active imagination. And yet, by the providence of Almighty God, and with the support of family, friends, and colleagues, I stand here with humility and preparedness to serve as the 4th President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. I thank those responsible for this extraordinary honor of entrusting me with the presidency of the CCJ, the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission, the RJLSC, who recommended my appointment, and the Conference of Heads of Government, who accepted that recommendation. And I also thank the people of the Caribbean for their investment in and support of the CCJ as the ultimate voice of Caribbean justice. I must begin by acknowledging the sterling work of my predecessors in this office. They established the groundwork for the court to grow into the institution of excellence that it is today. President Michael de la Bastide laid the foundation, leading the inaugural bench, which crafted the first procedural rules, heard the first cases, and established a high bar of judicial erudition. President Sir Dennis Byron brought the technological revolution to the court, and by dint of his personality and outreach efforts, made space for the court on the regional and international plane. And my immediate predecessor, President Adrian Saunders, furthered that mission by providing excellent and outstanding leadership in both the strategic direction and the judicial work of the court. These 3 legal stalwarts have laid a solid foundation for this court to grow and prosper. This moment is not mine alone. It belongs to all those who shaped my journey, which began in the quiet of rural St. Anne, the Garden Parish in the heart of Jamaica. My upbringing was modest, but rich in lessons molding me into the person I am today. My community was one where values such as discipline, hard work, integrity, respect, and perseverance were taught by example. These lessons have lit the mileposts of my life from a young boy to today. I entered the University of the West Indies Faculty of Law at the Mona campus in 1980, and thereby accessed a regional legal education system which had been created 10 years earlier. My first law teachers were Dr. Derek McCoy, now Attorney General of Jamaica, and Mr. Delroy Chuck, now Minister of Justice of Jamaica, who I see in the audience. Thank you, Mr. Chuck. After completing my Bachelor of Laws degree at the Cayville campus in Barbados, I furthered my academic and professional studies in the United Kingdom, and thereafter returned to the UWI to contribute as a lecturer at the Faculty of Law, Cave Hill. It was also my great honor to serve as General Counsel to the Caribbean community during a formative period in the life of the community. My experience as a law lecturer taught me that graduates of the Faculty of Law and of any one of our 3 law schools are amongst the brightest legal minds anywhere in the world. Their presence in our community affirms that our most brilliant young citizens need not look beyond our shores for opportunity to excel in nation building or in living a good life. There is a Caribbean dream if we dare to conceive it and to pursue it. My experience at CARICOM reinforced that inseparable from that Caribbean dream is laying claim to our sovereignty. Beginning in the 1960s, we extracted our political independence from the United Kingdom. 40 years later, the framers of the agreement establishing the CCJ deliberately intended the creation of an institution worthy of our judicial sovereignty. Sound and enduring arrangements were put in place to ensure the independence of the court, including an autonomous RJLAC to appoint judges to the court and a trust fund managed by professionals to provide the resources necessary for the court's operations. My 15 years at the court has revealed its transformative potential. This year marks the 20th anniversary of that glorious April morning in 2005, when the CCJ moved from the parchment of an agreement into a living and functional institution. In those 20 years, the court has served the people and states of this region with its full measure of devotion. It has produced hundreds of cases to guide conduct between and within member states. These judgments have been examined, scrutinized, praised, and critiqued. They comprise a record against which to measure the promise and performance of the court. Most fundamentally, the decisions of the court have begun to shape the way that we, the Caribbean people, live our lives and how we see ourselves. It has been an honor to contribute to that process. It has often been said, but it bears repeating on this occasion, that the CCJ is an emanation of our own collective imagination as a people. It was not imposed on us by anyone. Rather, it was conceived and established and is maintained by the people of the Caribbean to serve Caribbean interests. In both its original jurisdiction, where it hears disputes touching on the CARICOM single market and the economy, and in the appellate jurisdiction, where it is the final court of appeal, the CCJ stands as a pillar of independence and a symbol of our collective maturity. It is worth noting that in its appellate jurisdiction, the court has exerted reach and influence well beyond the 5 states of Barbados, Belize, Guyana, Dominica, and St. Lucia that have accepted that jurisdiction. CCJ appellate cases are routinely cited and accorded favorable treatment by the judiciary in virtually every common law state in the Caribbean. As I assume the office of President of the Court, I do so not in isolation, but as part of a broader regional movement of national judiciaries dedicated to delivering accessible justice, ensuring respect for and advancing the rule of law, protecting and promoting human rights, and supporting sustainable development in our countries. As members of the judiciary, we share in the responsibility to make the Caribbean the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in peace and security. It is my intention to lead the CCJ in a manner worthy of its origins and its calling. My illustrious predecessors have left impossibly large shoes for one person to fill. But the bench is blessed with a strong group of vibrant and experienced jurists. With the encouragement and support of my judicial colleagues and the management and staff of the court, the CCJ will continue to strengthen its institutional capacity, enhance access to justice, and deepen relationships with national judiciaries, regional and international institutions, and the wider public. After 20 years, the court has still not attracted full support of all eligible states for the appellate jurisdiction, with 5 out of a possible 11 states joining that jurisdiction. I am hopeful that during my tenure, other states will fulfill their treaty obligations and become full members of the appellate jurisdiction. And I'm looking straight ahead as I uttered those words. Even as we maximize the use of technology, I would like for the court to intensify its itinerant sittings so that the people of the region can see us, interact with us, and realize that we are in fact their kith and kin and part and parcel of the fabric of their society. In closing, I wish to thank all who have taken the time to officiate at or attend this event. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, Prime Minister Holness, and other esteemed heads of government, Secretary General Barnett, fellow heads of judiciary from across the region, I can't name all the countries, thank you for being here, community and government officials, members of the bar, friends and family. Permit me to single out my 3 children, Attorney at Law Anissa Anderson, Doctors Alicia Anderson and Anquan Anderson, all proud products of the regional professional education system. Without their love and support, this journey would not have been possible. I also want to publicly thank the Registrar and Chief Marshal of the CCJ, Mrs. Gabrielle Fagado-Jones, and the hardworking judges, managers, and staff of the court for their dedication and commitment to the court. It is a privilege to continue our work together, and I look forward to what is to come. And finally, my sincere gratitude to the government and people of Jamaica for graciously hosting this event. Thank you all most sincerely. I'm appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you, President Anderson. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony signaled continuity, stability, and enduring promise of justice and independence in our region. As we bring the ceremony to a close, please allow me, on behalf of the judges and staff of the Caribbean Court of Justice, to extend heartfelt gratitude to the 3rd President of the CCJ, Mr. Justice Saunders, for his outstanding leadership over the past 7 years. And although now retired, earlier we saw he still has some pep in his step. I also congratulate the newly minted President of the Court, Mr. Justice Anderson. We look forward to working with you in your new capacity, Sue, and trust that your tenure will strengthen the institution which you now lead. To the Governor General of Jamaica, Government of Jamaica, and Caribbean community, the CCJ extends its sincere appreciation for your collaboration and gracious accommodation of this ceremony. The ceremony has drawn added significance from being held just ahead of the opening of the 49th Conference of Heads of Government meeting. It has been an honor and a privilege to work with your respective teams. Special gratitude is also extended to today's 2 the staff of the CCJ for their assistance in today's preparations. To each distinguished guest, thank you for your presence, support, and for bearing witness to this important occasion. May we go forward renewed in our commitment to the pursuit of justice for the peoples and states of the Caribbean. And now, please remain seated as the protocol team prepares for the following photo opportunities at the front of the room with His Excellency. His Excellency, the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, and the Honourable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders. Please come to the front.
I don't know. No, sir. Jesus, we have fence all around me every day. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. We extend our heartfelt congratulations to our new president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the Honorable Justice Winston Anderson, and wish for him every success as he leads the CCJ into a new era. Thank you for joining us for this special broadcast, and we invite you to join us again later this afternoon at 5 as we bring you the official opening ceremony for the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM. We will be there to bring you all the sights and sounds from what promises to be a wonderful event from another beautiful location. It has been a pleasure. I am Jabertha Atkinson on behalf of the Jamaica Information Service team. Thank you.
From the impressive Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. My name is Jada Francis, and it is my pleasure to be a part of the team from the Jamaica Information Service, JIS, who will be bringing you this afternoon's live opening ceremony.